Hello, Chris here again, and welcome to the third clinic. Today we're going to complete our essay by showing you exactly how to write a conclusion. We're also going to talk about time management and a little bit about vocabulary and grammar as well. So, what are we going to look at? First of all, how to write an effective conclusion. We're also going to talk about proofreading and checking and the importance of proofreading for your grammar and vocabulary score. Also going to talk about time management, making sure that you get everything done on time. And then at the end, the homework task, it will be your turn to write a full essay. A lot of you have been emailing us asking where you can access the lessons. So let me just tell you, all lessons have been emailed to you. All the feedback documents have been emailed to you also. If you can't find them in your email, please check your spam or promotions folders. Every single person who has emailed us and said you didn't email them to us, when we tell them to check their spam or promotion, they find them in there. We will send you a whole feedback document at the end of this course. So at the end of this lesson, we'll tell you more about that. But we will delete all the lessons at the end of this week. That is because we really want you to watch the lessons and learn from them. And if we create that deadline, then you are more likely to actually complete the lessons. So you have until the end of the week to watch the lessons and do the homework tasks. Many of you have been asking about the VIP course. We will have a special offer for you tomorrow, 11 a.m. tomorrow morning. I will be going live. Just click the same link you've been clicking all week. You can join me live and I'll tell you everything you need to know about our special offer. More information on that at the end of this lesson. So it's good when you get to the end of a course to look back and think about what you have achieved so far. So we looked at how to write an effective introduction, how to write effective main body paragraphs, and today we're going to look at how to complete our essay. So if you can do all three of these things, then you have dramatically improved your ability to write an effective essay. So well done for getting all of those things done. And most importantly, we hope that we have changed our understanding of what an essay is and what good writing looks like. In lesson 1, I told you that most students fail to get the scores that they need, not because their writing is bad or their English is bad or they're not intelligent or anything like that. It is really just fundamental misunderstandings about what an essay is, about what good writing looks like, and what you can do is just change your mindset, change your attitude about these key things, and then you will be able to write a much better essay. And I think the key thing that we learned is that it is not as complicated and as complex as you think. It is actually much simpler, and by applying just simple systems, you are able to dramatically improve your ability to write an essay. So let's remind ourselves of the sample question. You can pause the video and have a look at that. Now, our introduction. This was the introduction provided by one of our students. I'm sure that you have seen this before. For those of you who have not read this before, just pause the video and have a look at this. So it's important that we understand this introduction, because this introduction is going to really help us write a conclusion. So what is a conclusion? So a conclusion, this is where we state our point of view. This is where we state what we think about the question. And this is where we summarize our main arguments or our main point. And in an IELTS essay, this will be our main ideas. Everything is leading towards this. If we do not write an effective conclusion, everything else will be a waste of time. So I see this every single day where a student writes an amazing introduction, a really good main body paragraph in number 1, excellent main body paragraph number 2, and then either they write a very poor conclusion or they write no conclusion at all. And that is, like, every time I see that, I'm like, oh, that's such a shame, because you've just thrown away your ability to get one of those higher scores. It is impossible for you to get a 7 or above if you don't write an effective conclusion. So in order to get a band 7, we must learn how to do everything at a band 7 level. Our introductions need to be at a band 7 level. Our main body paragraphs, our conclusions, our grammar, our vocabulary, everything needs to be at a band 7 level. There's no tips or tricks or shortcuts that we can learn to make one little part of our essay good and that guarantees a band 7. That's just nonsense. That's marketing talk by people trying to sell you courses. The reason why our VIP students are so successful is that we teach them to do everything at a band 7 or above level, not just a few things. And remember that we are not writing an essay really, we are writing an argument. We are stating what we think about the question. So the introduction is stage 1. This is what I'm going to argue. This is what I think about the question. Here are the reasons and evidence to support my argument. This is the detail contained in the main body. And then the conclusion is, this is what I think and a summary of my main arguments. Why do we write an essay in this way? Well, again, it is about clear communication. It is about helping the reader. If you walk up to somebody and just start talking about your evidence and your reasons and everything without introducing the argument to them, they're not really going to understand you. And if you just start talking about the reasons and the evidence and then you don't summarize it and repeat your main idea, it's not going to be as clear. So we introduce our argument in the introduction, we go into detail in the main body, and then we summarize it in the conclusion. That makes it extremely easy for the examiner to read and understand. And that is why we write something, to clearly communicate with the reader. So as always, there are different elements to a conclusion, so let's break it down into a simple system. So there are 3 parts of a good conclusion. A cohesive device, sometimes called a linking word, your point of view, and a summary of the main arguments or main ideas. So we need to have all 3 of these things, not 3 sentences, but all 3 of these things in our conclusion. So there's always a little bit of confusion between point of view and main argument and main ideas. So I want to just make this very, very clear because it's going to clear up a lot of misunderstanding and it is going to make your job much easier if you have a clear understanding of what this is. So for some questions, such as opinion questions, where they ask you for your opinion or ask you if you agree or disagree, you must clearly state your opinion and then your argument, your main ideas. So if they say, do you agree or disagree? You need to say, either I agree or I disagree, and then give your main ideas. For other types of questions, your position, your opinion, your point of view, and your main argument will be the same thing. So for example, why do people not exercise? They don't have time. This is your position. This is your opinion. This is your main argument. So you don't have to say, I agree that people don't exercise or I disagree that people don't exercise. You just answer the question directly. Or if the question said, what are the advantages and disadvantages? Your position, your opinion, your main argument would be listing the main argument, the main advantages and disadvantages. So a lot of students are confused by this, so hopefully that clears it up and makes your job much, much easier. Okay, so the first element is your cohesive device, also called linking words. So you're only going to write one conclusion. So learn just one way to start your conclusion. One thing that it totally confuses me is when I go online and see IELTS websites and YouTube channels and everything, and they're teaching you like 7 different ways to start your conclusion. It's like, are you using 7 conclusions? Are you writing 7 conclusions? No, you're just writing 1. So that is wasting your time, and it is also meaning that you're focusing on things that don't really matter. You don't get extra marks for having a fancy linking word or a fancy cohesive device. That is not how the examiners think about them. The examiners just look at cohesive devices and think, are these accurate and are they appropriate? So, how do you start your conclusion? In conclusion, you don't have to learn 6 different ways. You're only going to learn 1. There is no such thing as a better way of writing that. Just start with in conclusion. And if you start asking questions like, well, can I put to conclude, or can I write in a nutshell, or can I write this, or can I write that? That's like someone going to the gym to work out and saying, should I use Nike trainers or Reebok trainers or Adidas trainers? Your trainers don't matter. What matters is that you actually go to the gym and do the work if you want to get fit. A huge number of students fail the test because of this. They spend their whole life just worrying about should I do this or that or this or that, when really it doesn't matter. So just pick one thing and do it. I know that sounds a little bit harsh and not many teachers will speak to you in that way, but my goal is to help you improve your IELTS scores, and that helping you focus on the things that matter and ignore the things that don't matter is one of the key ways of getting you to get the score that you need. Okay, now that we have our cohesive device, our linking word, in conclusion, comma, the next step is to reiterate our opinion, our point of view, or our position, depending on the type of question, but these are all the same thing. What do you think about the question? How are you going to answer the question? And reiterate means state again. You will have already stated it in your introduction and your main body paragraph. You're going to reiterate it in your conclusion. I know many of you are screaming at the screen now going, oh, you can't repeat anything. Do not worry about repetition. So many of you are worried about this, all right? So what can I do to prove to you that it's okay to do this? So I don't think that you should listen to me. I don't think that you should listen to your old teachers or any teachers. And I definitely don't think that you should listen to someone on YouTube. Who are we going to listen to? Who are the people that are going to decide our score? The Cambridge examiners, the people who are looking at your essay. And what do Cambridge do? The Cambridge have marking criteria, very clear criteria that every single examiner uses to mark your essay. So let's not listen to me or other teachers. Let's just look at what they say. Directly what they say, this is a direct quote from the marking criteria, presents a clear position throughout, and this is the key word, throughout the response. If you could only state your position in one part of the essay, would it say this in the official marking criteria? No. What is a good essay? What does a good essay look like? Your introduction introduces your argument, your position. Your main body paragraph discusses it in detail, and your conclusion summarizes it. It reiterates it again. That is what every good essay looks like, not just in the IELTS context, but if you go and look at really good academic articles from Cambridge, MIT, Stanford, Harvard University, the best universities in the world. So who is correct? Cambridge and the best universities in the world, or some guy on YouTube who is trying to grow a YouTube channel? I hope that you can make the right choice. And the reason why many people worry about repeating ideas and whatnot is that they have been taught that you can never repeat any words in the essay. And we've already talked about this, but how do you write the same idea in a different way? Well, you use paraphrasing. So do not worry about repeating your main ideas again, but this does not mean that you can just copy the same words. We take our main ideas from the introduction and we paraphrase them. So remember, we looked at the introduction in this lesson. The reason I did that was we are going to take the introduction, we're going to take the main ideas, and we're going to paraphrase them. This makes it very simple to write a conclusion and ensures your position is clear throughout the entire essay. Because your conclusion should be a summary of your main arguments. Someone should be able to read your conclusion only and tell you what your main arguments are. When I was at university, what my professors taught me was if I give you a book to read or I give you an academic article to read, you don't have to read it all. Just read the introduction and the conclusion because it will have the main points in there. It's a little trick any good university professor should teach their students. And that saves you a huge amount of time. And this is one of the main reasons why your main argument should be in your introduction and your conclusion so that somebody can quickly understand your main points. Again, don't worry about repeating your main ideas, but you must paraphrase. This will make the conclusion easy to write and ensure you summarize your main ideas. So that this is just a simple system that anybody can use that guarantees you're going to write an effective conclusion. So let's have a look at what our VIP student did. So this is their introduction, and let's have a look at their conclusion. In conclusion, so this is their cohesive device, their linking word. They didn't learn 17 of them, they just learned
Sì, poi come che si dice?
One. Those in employment are not as fit as they could be due to restrictions on their time. So this is their main idea. This is their viewpoint. It's exactly the same thing, and they've just taken it from the introduction and paraphrased it. And periods of exercise should be added to their daily timetable to alleviate this issue. They've just taken their second main idea, put it in here. You don't have to write a recommendation or a prediction. It shouldn't contain any new ideas at all. Just, in conclusion, a summary of your main position. And a good test of whether your introduction and your conclusion, whether they are effective or not, is could you hand just these two to a stranger? Could you walk out into the street in London and hand these to a stranger on the street and say, do you understand what I think about this question? So you have the question at the top, and they read this, and they read this. Would they understand what you think about the question? Absolutely, 100%. What are IELTS teaching, or what are they testing? They are testing whether you can take ideas in your brain, put them on paper, give them to someone, and they understand what you mean, what is in your head. That is clear communication. That is what they are testing. And that is why everything that we teach is designed to help you do that. So a checklist for double question. Is my position clear on question 1? If it is, that's a good start. Is my position clear on question 2? If it is, that's great. Have I varied my vocabulary as much as possible? So if you have to repeat a word because you don't know another word or there isn't another word, then that's fine. But if there is a better way of varying that, then do that. Have I included an accurate cohesive device? We've made this really simple for you by teaching you 1, so it's pretty much impossible to mess up. And is my grammar accurate? Always check your grammar. So you're not done yet. You have completed your conclusion, but we need to go one step further. Many students just finish the conclusion with 1 minute or 2 minutes to go or 30 seconds to go, and they fail their test because they don't take this next step, or they don't have time to take this next step. So everyone makes mistakes. We're all human. The problem for you is that you're writing in a second language, which means that you're going to make mistakes. Everyone makes mistakes in their first language, so you're definitely going to make mistakes in your second language. You're under pressure, you're stressed out, that increases the chances of making mistakes. And the more mistakes you make, the lower your score. So the way that IELTS judges your grammar and vocabulary is not just the range of your grammar and vocabulary, it is the accuracy. And how they judge that by, they look at your grammar and your vocabulary and they count the number of mistakes. The more mistakes, the lower your score. So what we need to do is we need to create enough time where we can eliminate as many mistakes as possible. And this is increasing our chances of getting the score that we need. You must find time to proofread. And I know many of you are watching this video and being like, oh, I hardly have time to even write my essay. How will I have time to proofread? Well, let me show you how to do that. So, have a look at these. And I want you to look at this guy, Usain Bolt, and then look at these guys and think about their time management. Are these guys bad at time management? And did Usain Bolt win the 100 meters because the night before the final he went onto YouTube and looked up top 10 time management tips? No. The reason why Usain Bolt is a second or two ahead of everyone else is nothing to do with time management. Why is Usain Bolt faster than everyone else in this picture? Because he's better at running than everybody else. These guys are pretty good at running, but they're not nearly as good as Usain Bolt. What does this teach us about time management? The reason why many of you are failing to get the IELTS score that you need and are struggling with time management is because you're looking up top 10 time management tips. You're looking for time management hacks and things like that, when you are ignoring the most important thing, which is simply become better at writing. Our VIP students have no time management tips or tricks or hacks in the entire course, but they all get the essay done on time, and they actually have 5 or 10 minutes at the end to just look at their writing and check everything at the end. How do we do that? We don't teach them anything to do with time management. We make them better at writing. I can write a Task 2 Band 9 essay in 15 minutes. Am I really good at time management? No. It is my job to write essays. It is my career. So I'm just good at writing essays, and I'm using my native language. So ignore time management. If you are not getting the work done on time, it means you need to do more work. You need to get better at writing. So let's have a look at the timing that we share with our VIP students. Most of our successful VIP students, if you go and look online at all of our success stories, most of them will say that they planned for about 8 to 10 minutes. This might sound like a lot, but what they are doing is they're doing all of their thinking and planning in this stage. And that means that they don't have to think of ideas or structure or explanations or examples at all when they move on to the next stage, which is the writing stage. Okay, so they spend about 10 minutes planning, then they spend about 25 minutes writing, but they do all their thinking and planning here, and then they do all their writing in this stage, which leaves them 5 minutes for checking at the end. That's around 2 minutes per sentence. So planning 10 minutes, writing 25 minutes. On average, don't use just this number of sentences. Some students write 11 or 12, some students write like 15 sentences, some a little bit more, but on average that's around 2 minutes per sentence. If you can't write a sentence in under 2 minutes, you're not ready yet to get a band 7 or above. So this is the level you need to get to before you are booking your test. Don't book your test until you can plan everything in about 8 to 10 minutes, 25 minutes for writing, and about 5 minutes for checking. And when you are checking, the main thing that you should be checking for are linguistic mistakes. First of all, find your common areas of weakness and work on these until they are strengths. So if you have a big problem with articles or prepositions or punctuation, for example, fix those mistakes before you do the test, and that is going to eliminate the vast majority of mistakes before you even do the test. You need to think about things strategically like that. Be aware of your weaknesses, so on test day, be aware of the mistakes that you normally make and you will avoid them. Proofread at the end of every sentence, so when you get to the end of every sentence, don't continue on to the next sentence, go back and read that sentence for linguistic mistakes. Then proofread at the end of every paragraph, so at the end of the paragraph, don't continue, go back to the beginning of the paragraph and read the whole paragraph and check for any mistakes. And then proofread at the end of every essay. So if you do that, end of every sentence, end of every paragraph, end of every essay, you will have proofread every sentence 3 times, which will dramatically reduce the number of mistakes that you're making. But you might be thinking, I won't have time to do that. Let me share with you this picture again. You need to get better at writing. If you get better at writing and you follow the systems that we have taught you, it will be as easy as Usain Bolt find running the 100 meters and breaking the world record. Does he look stressed out? Does he look like he's working hard? No, he's extremely relaxed because he's put in all the hard work before the race. If you learn a system for improving your IELTS writing, or if you need help with anything else, that's what you need to do. Our VIP students are not stressed out on test day. What they are is extremely relaxed because they know they are going to get the score that they need because they have done it so many times before the test, and we have given them so much feedback on their weaknesses and told them exactly what they need to do in order to get that 7 or above. That's what they look like. So here is your homework question. Look at the question below, follow the steps outlined in this lesson and the entire course, and write the whole essay. So this is your question. You can pause the video and write that down or take a screenshot. So here are the rules. Write or type the entire essay before looking at the feedback. You won't really get any benefit from the feedback if you do not do this. So write or type out the essay before you look at the feedback document. If you want one-on-one feedback, the VIP course is your best option. So if you really want to know exactly what your mistakes are and exactly what to do to improve, then join us at 11 a.m. UK time tomorrow, and we'll give you information about how you can join the VIP course. I'll send you a feedback document via email. That's 100% free, and you can look at that and give yourself feedback if you want to. But if you want expert one-on-one feedback, the VIP course is your best option. So 11 a.m. UK time, I'll be giving you a special offer tomorrow so that you can join the VIP course. And the VIP course is simply the most successful IELTS course in the world. And that is not a marketing claim, that is a fact. We have more success stories than any other IELTS course in the entire world. There are only a small number of places available, and there are less than 20 places available because we only hire the best teachers, and we also give a huge amount of one-on-one feedback and support to our students. Therefore, we only work with a really small number of students. We want to help as many people as possible as we can during this tough year by giving you a huge discount. So we do only have a small number of places, but we're going to give you a discount to make it more affordable for as many of you as possible. You'll also have lifetime access to the VIP course and lifetime support and help. We are with you until you pass the test, and we'll also give you unlimited practice opportunities as well so that you can get all the help that you need in the VIP course. Thank you very much. I hope to work with some of you on the VIP course in the future, so if you're interested in that, I'll see you tomorrow. But if not, I wish you the best of luck